a good day so far. So for today, we will be doing our grade 5 English lesson on possessive nouns. So we'll be doing our grade 5 English lesson on possessive nouns. And in the week, we also did possessive nouns. So this is basically going to be a follow-up revision test to see if we are, it's like just recapping again on possessive nouns, right? So we are doing a grade 5 English lesson on possessive nouns. And before we start with our lesson on possessive nouns, you're going to log into aplusstudents.ca. And once you've logged into aplusstudents.ca, and then you're going to log in with your username as well as your password. Once you've logged in with your username as well as your password, and then you're going to select the subject of language arts. All right, so once we've selected the subject of language arts, we choose grade 5. And then you're going to scroll down the chapters, grade 5 chapters, up until you get to possessive nouns. Possessive nouns. All right. You're going to click on possessive nouns. Once you've clicked on possessive nouns, you'll basically find this page in front of you. All right, so now our focus lesson is going to be identify plurals, singular possessives, and plural possessives, right? So like I say, we also did the similar lesson during the week, and this is basically just like a follow-up on possessive nouns. So we're first going to our whiteboard. So we're going to basically define again what possessive nouns are. So we are doing the chapter of possessive nouns, grade 5, and our focus lesson is to identify plurals, singular possessives, and plural possessives, right? And our tutorial lesson, we are doing our lessons on aplusstudents.ca. So we are doing our lesson on aplusstudents.ca. So if you do want to go back, whenever, you can go to aplusstudents.ca to practice or to basically recap on a lesson that was done, the chapters on the board as well as the grade and the lesson that we focused on. So now, a possessive noun. A possessive noun is a special form of noun that's used to indicate ownership. So possession, right? Being possessive, it's showing ownership. Like it belongs to me, belongs to you, whoever it belongs to. It is Nadine's car, meaning it belongs to Nadine. It is Jane's pencil, which means that it belongs to Jane, right? So it is showing possession or possessiveness or possession, as well as ownership, because it belongs to someone or it belongs to something. So, possessive noun is the special form of a noun that is used to indicate ownership, right? So, ownership is possession, belongs to me, belongs to you, belongs to them. And the possessive noun represents the owner, which is the person who owns the thing. It's a possessor, right? Of something, and usually comes right before another noun representing what they own. So, which means that if it belongs to Nadine, right, then you basically first have to write Nadine and then you write the item or thing that she owns. So, if it is my bag, right, so if it's my bag and it belongs to me, and then we say it's Nadine's, apostrophe is Nadine's bag, right? Because the bag belongs to me. So you need to put an apostrophe and an S to show possession, to show ownership, to show that it belongs to you. If you don't put an apostrophe, if you don't put an apostrophe, right? Meaning if you don't put this and then you just put an S, and then it means that you are actually indicating that it is a plural form. Because remember, if we just add an S to something, like for example, yeah, the boys' coat. So it says the boys' coat. So the boys' coat, right? This shows possession. But as soon as you say the boys' coat, then that means it is plural, right? That is not possession. Because you need to put an apostrophe and S to show possession. And we are going to go over singular as well as plural possessives. So, possessive noun, a person, place, or thing that shows ownership of something. Say you own a house, then it's your house. You're showing ownership of something. You have a car, then it's your car, right? Anything that belongs to you or to whoever, right? It is theirs. They show possession because they are the possessor, like the owner. So a possessive noun, right? It's a place, it's a person, place, or thing that shows ownership of something. Person, place, or thing that shows ownership of something. The boys' coat. And as you can see, boys is also even written with an apostrophe, meaning that the coat belongs to the boy. The boys' coat. Not removing the apostrophe. If you remove the apostrophe and you just put an S, then it means that you are writing it in the plural form. Joe's car. Sandra's car. Right? We put the apostrophe S to show position. Mr. Roberts's house. So whose house is it? It's Mr. Roberts's house. He is the owner. He can take ownership all he wants because he is the owner of the house. So Mr. Roberts. The children's breakfast. The children's breakfast. So children's, right? Meaning that it is the breakfast belongs to the children. They are having breakfast. Children's. Because, like I say, if you are just going to add an S to the word, to whichever word, and then it just means that you are showing that specific thing, or you're making mention of it in the plural form, not in a possessive form. All right. If we look at this picture in front of us, right? We have singular possessive nouns, and then we also have plural possessive nouns. So singular or singular possessive nouns as well as plural possessive nouns. So now we're going to basically give you an indication of if the word is just single or if the word is singular possessive. The same with plural. Is it just plural or is it plural possessive? All right. So singular, right? So we're first going to compare singular with the singular possessive before we go on to plural and plural possessive. If you write a singular possessive, right, or a singular word, then we, for example, just say girl, because girl is it refers to one person, right? Which means that the singular possessive, if we were to almost like show some form of ownership, then we would say the girls. The girls. So it's like saying this is just saying um the girl has a bag, right? That is just showing that the girl has a bag. Finish. But now, when it comes to singular possessive, right? We can then say it is the girl's bag. So the girl has a bag, and to show possession or possessiveness is it is the girl's bag. And as you can see, there's an apostrophe S. All right. We can then say the same with the girls. Now we say the girls. We are going to make it in the form of plural also. Um, the girls bought new cell phones. So the girls refers to more than one bought new cell phones. And if we were to write that with like if we were to write that in the plural possessive, then we would have said the girls' cell phones are new, right? So that is basically four examples on if it's either singular or plural or if it is showing position. All right. Okay, let's go to another one. All right, let's do child. We're going to choose child. All right, so remember we said that if a word is singular, right? If the word is singular, then for example, you just say child or dog or girl or pony or mouse or so on. But as soon as you show possession, whether you are supposed to be, so whether you show position, not whether you, but when we do show position, when we do show position and then we put the apostrophe and s. So when we show the position, we put the apostrophe and s. Do not forget the apostrophe and s. Because as soon as you don't put the apostrophe and s, then we will get the idea it is just plural, right? Without the position. And that is without position. So we have child, child's, children, and children's. We need to come up with sentences, right? So can you think of any sentences that we can make to kind of show a difference between singular and singular position, as well as plural and plural position? So with child, right? Let's think of a sentence. Mm, let's say the child so the child eats ice cream, right? Which means that it is one child that we're referring to. And there we have child, right? But now, if we want to show a form of possessive, singular possessive, and then we say the child's ice cream, or we can just say the child's ice cream is melting. So we can say the child's ice cream is melting, right? So which means that this shows position. There we have our apostrophe and is. So that is singular and also a singular possessive. Now we're going to do a plural possessive. And a plural possessive is, like, for example, if we have, remember, we don't say child's because you don't get a child's um as a plural form. So it is children. right? Children. Um, let's say the children. I'm thinking of a sentence. Children. Let's say the children play with their skipping rope. So we can say the children play games or rope games or skipping games. So let's say play skipping rope. Right? So the children play skipping rope. So now we need to show position because children is already more than one, right? It is a plural form, right? It shows more than one. So the children play skipping rope. So now we can maybe say, who does the skipping rope belong to? We can say it is the child. Oopsie, where am I? It is the children's skipping rope. All right, so if we look at the sentence now, the children play skipping rope, right? But now, if we were to show position, then we can say it is the children's. No. It is the children's skipping rope, right? And that basically is examples of sentences, sentence fragments, and run ons. All right. So now let's go back to our tutorial class where we go to aplusstudents.ca. Let's go to aplusstudents.ca. So now we're going to do our tutorial. We're going to continue our tutorial lesson on aplusstudents.ca on possessive nouns. All right, so we're going our tutorial, right? This is where we're going to identify plurals, singular positions, as well as plural possessives. So, a possessive noun, right? It shows who or what owns something and has something. And that is why we put the apostrophe, right? Because it's almost like it shows emphasis that it belongs to. It's Nadine's. So instead of saying it belongs to Nadine, we can say it's Nadine's. It's John's. It's Anna's. So we put the apostrophe and we put the S whenever we show possession. So, a possessive noun shows who or what owns something or has something, right? So, it shows who has something, who owns something, right? And when a noun is singular, so when we have a singular noun, right, we just add an apostrophe and S. We will do the apostrophe and S when, so we will put an apostrophe and S when you show possession, right? Because remember, if you just put the S, then it shows that you are doing, you're basically just showing it's plural. But you need to put the apostrophe and S to show it is possessive, or it will show possession. So a possessive noun shows who or what owns something or has something. So when a noun is singular, we just add an apostrophe and S to form the singular possessive noun. For example, mat. So this is Matt's glove. So which means that this glove belongs to Matt. Matt's glove. Matt's shoes. Jane's coat. Sarah's party. Emily's books. So that is showing singular possessive nouns. The same with the bird. The bird. So if we want to make mention or talk about the bird's wing, then we need to say the bird's wing. Remember, we need to put, oopsie, we need to put the apostrophe there. All right, so that is basically possessiveness or possessive nouns. Shows ownership, right? Or it shows that you are owning something, belongs to you. And when a noun is plural, right? When it refers to more than one. So when the noun is plural and it ends in S, then we just add an apostrophe to form the plural possessive noun. So, for example, if we say um boy, right? If we are making mention of one boy and we're talking about his toys, and then we will say the boy's toys. Because this is one boy. It's only one boy that we're talking about. But as soon as we are saying the we're talking about both boys. So the boys ball, right? And if we want to say it belongs to the boys, so it is the boys' ball, and then we just put an apostrophe. We don't put another S. You see, once we put an apostrophe and then an S, it shows it is a singular possessive noun. But yeah, this shows it is a plural possessive noun. So we put the apostrophe after the S. And here we have an example. The boys, right? Shows more than one boy. It's plural, right? So the boys is just plural. But as soon as we say the boys' camp, right? And then here we just show that it's a possessive noun. It is a plural possessive noun, not just a singular, but a plural possessive noun. The schools, meaning we are talking about more than one school, not just one school, right? So if we're making mention of more than one school and we're saying the schools, or if we want to like basically make mention of the position or possessiveness of it, then we say the school's team. Can be the school's netball team, soccer team, whichever code or sports is taking place. So, and when a noun is plural and does not end in s, we just add an apostrophe and an s to form the plural possessive nouns. For example, the children. So the children, it is plural, but it still ends in an N, right? It does not end in an S. So it's plural, but it does not end in an S, which means that we will have to put the apostrophe. So we will say, for example, children, because this is plural. But now if we want to say the children's toys, and then we put the apostrophe S for the children's toys. Apostrophe and S. And then we have the mice's tails. And we put the apostrophe and S as much as it shows that it is plural, but we only put only the apostrophe at the back when the word ends in an S already. All right, so now we're going to underline. We're going to say what is underlined. It says the actor's lines were important for him to remember. So the word actors, they're asking what is the underlined word? Is it a is it just singular? Is it plural? Is it singular possessive or plural possessive? The actors' lines were impossible for him to remember. All right, and the actors, meaning we're actually referring to one actor. So this is singular possessive noun. So this is a singular possessive noun. All right. Let's look at the underlined word teammates. Teammates is it shows more than one. So our teammates' strength help us win the final game. So our teammates' strength helps us with the final game. So which means that this is a plural possessive noun. So it's a plural possessive noun, right? Because it's saying our teammates' strengths helped us to win the final match. So this is a plural possessive noun. Shows more than one, right? And with teammates, as you can see, to show position or ownership, we say teammates. Oops. So there's the word teammates. So if we want to show position, right, then we put the apostrophe behind. We put the apostrophe behind the S, not before the S, because this word is already ending in S as much as it's just plural form. Those professors' classes are the most popular. Those professors' classes are the most popular. If we look at the word professors, is that a singular form? Is it a plural form, singular possessive form, or is it a plural possessive form or possessive noun? Those professors' classes are the most popular. So if we look at the word professors, right, without even the apostrophe, then that shows it is more than one professor. It shows that there is more than one professor. But now they're saying those professors' classes are the most popular. They're referring to the different professors' classes. More than one. Because remember, we also said that when you have, like for example, professor, right? Professors is basically just indicating or showing that this is plural. But now we put the apostrophe at the end, right? So now it is professors. And this now shows that it is their classes, right? But this is also a plural possessive pronoun, noun. So plural possessive noun, possessive. And that shows, firstly, it is more than one person, more than one thing that we are actually talking about. So it's a plural possessive nouns. And plural possessive shows more than one. All right, let's go next. Mrs. Hickman was grateful for the guests' good manners. So the word guests, apostrophe S, is that a singular possessive, singular noun, or a plural possessive? Guests, good manners. And without the apostrophe, right, it will just be guest. So we will then say that this is a singular possessive. Singular possessive noun, right? Because it is actually guest. So we're talking about the one guest. But now we're talking about this guest's good manners, right? So we are then putting the apostrophe to talk specifically about the guest's good manners or to compliment the guest for his or her good manners. So the guests' good manners. All right, one more, and then we're doing a test. Are there any statues in your town? Are there any statues in your town? So if we now look at the word statues, statues. So statues, is this a plural form? Is it a singular form or singular noun? Is it singular possessive noun or plural possessive noun? Statues. One statue, many statues, or two or more statues, which means that this is a plural. It's just plural noun. It just shows more than one. So this is more than one only. So more than one, not ownership. It is not showing ownership, right? So this is just a plural noun. It is just two or more, depending, more than one statue that we're talking about. It's not showing ownership, which is not any possessive nouns. All right, so now let's go to our test before we end the session. What is the underlined word? Our parents insisted that we never talk to strangers. Is strangers a plural noun or a plural possessive noun? So strangers, right? It's more than one person. So which means that it is, and it has no apostrophe, which means that this is plural nouns. I just show that it is more than one. The government has made many improvements to the schools. So the government has made many improvements to the schools. Is that a plural noun? So improvements, the plural noun or singular possessive noun? So improvements, we can say it is a plural noun because it shows more than one. It shows that there's many improvements, right? It's not just one improvement, it's more than one improvement. So it's improvements, and that is a plural noun. And the earthquake's effects were felt for miles. Earthquakes. Is it a singular possessive noun or a plural noun? Remember, the apostrophe will tell us if it is possessive noun or if it's just a plural noun, where we just added an S to make it more. And in this case, right, earthquakes effects, we can say it is a singular possessive noun. And we have our apostrophe S. These old newspapers should go in the recycling bin. Newspapers. Is it a plural noun or a plural possessive noun? Newspapers. And newspapers, it gives us the idea or it shows that it is more than one newspaper. So we will say this is just a plural noun. There is no apostrophe to give the idea that it is possessiveness. And the anchors weight keep the ship from floating away. The anchors weight keep the ship from floating away. So anchors, is it a plural noun or a singular possessive noun? Anchors. Apostrophe S, which means that this is a singular possessive noun. Mrs. Hickman was grateful for the guest's good manners. The one guest had good manners, right? So it is singular possessive noun. All right, so grade 5, this is now the end of our lesson on possessive nouns. And we spoke about plural nouns, singular nouns, as well as singular possessive nouns or plural possessive nouns, right? So remember, possessive nouns, it shows ownership, shows something belongs to someone. Whereas, for example, just plural means more than one. So if we, for example, add an S to a word, it will indicate that there's more than one of that. But as soon as we put an apostrophe S, then it means that we're showing possession or possessiveness. So this is now the end of our lesson. Thank you very much for joining the class, and you should have an amazing day further. Goodbye.